Hello friends, thank you so very much for joining us here at Non-Toxic Home today. Today I want to talk to you about a theory that I have that is evidence-based. This is not a. However, I am using flashcards today because of I do not want this video to disappear magically. Now, I have been experiencing on social media since January of 2019. I have had scores of peer-reviewed studies hosted on PubMed by the government, blocked in entirety from being posted and marked as fake news, not just declared to be fake news by a little blurb underneath the post, but completely blocked. So that is why I am using flashcards today, because of. Now, today, my theory, it is not a. This is an evidence-based theory. Now, we know that happened. If you haven't researched it, if you haven't heard of it, there are a lot of great YouTube videos about it. There's a lot of information online. There are declassified government documents about it. This is all about, this is all about mind control. The people who went through this, unspeakable. Now, this has basically changed to this. Now, these individuals, some of them may have mental health issues. I have a post that I'm going to link to below that has links to a lecture by the person that I consider to be the most qualified person in the United States to speak about this topic. He supports this work. He is a professor. He has a slew of accreditations. He has worked with a number of government agencies. He is a DARPA advisor. He researches this stuff. And according to him, in his lecture, which again, he is supporting this work, okay? He discusses as part of it. And he also discusses millimeter frequencies as part of controlling people's emotions. Now, the reason why I have developed my theory about and the riots is because my husband works in a test city. Actually, more accurately, he used to. Now, he does not receive. Our home is exceedingly low EMF. When he comes home from work, he turns off his cell phone before he even gets to our property. Our water has this removed. So he is not subject to a lot of the toxins that allow for this sort of thing to occur, according to the DARPA advisor, to the most qualified person, in my opinion, in the United States to speak about this sort of work, which is still ongoing. It's just going on under different names. Again, according to him, this and pharmaceuticals are all utilized for mind control of politicians. It is not a large jump to consider the possibility that not just politicians are mind controlled, right? So, as I've mentioned, Indianapolis, Indiana, where my husband used to work, is a test city for this. It was a test city for AT&T and Verizon, so it is highly irradiated. Now, this is just mind-blowing. Now, this is anecdotal, of course. This is only one person's experience. However, it's quite compelling in my opinion. When he went to work the day of the first riots in Indianapolis, the riots only happened at night. It was a terrible day at work. People apparently just lost their minds. He, as I've mentioned, does not partake in these. He eats minimal craft food full of GMOs and who knows what. He takes one pharmaceutical, that's all. So he's not subject to this crap. And we do not have around us that first day of the riots. He came home. It was an absolutely terrible day. It happens sometimes. We didn't think anything of it. The next day, he went back to work, and it was even worse. It was an absolute nightmare. People were just insane. Just insane, including his employer. Now, everybody that works there, except for him, and I believe one other person, lives in the Indianapolis area. Now, this other person does live in a city. We do not live in a city. And I'm sure that other person has their cell phone near them at night, which also emits frequencies. Not the same frequencies in entirety as this, but some of the same frequencies. My husband wasn't angry. He was not happy when he came home because it was just it was the worst day he'd ever had on that job. Ever, ever, ever. It was terrible. And then it was the weekend. He stayed home. Apparently things went badly for the people who worked over the weekend. Of course, the riots were bad. I believe it was a Friday night. Monday morning, he watched the news in the morning to make sure that there wasn't any additional violence, because if there was, he was not going to go to Indianapolis because he's not an idiot. And they were replaying the footage from previous nights. So, as of Sunday night, people weren't at least acting out, or more likely, they were just getting arrested before it happened, because there were a lot of arrests that night. So, Monday morning, he goes back to work, and the people are furious. The spirit of anger was absolutely overwhelming. He couldn't figure out why everybody was angry. He walked around saying, "Why is everybody so mad?" and asked. And of course, a lot of people directed their anger at him. He was happy. It was a beautiful day. He's like, "It's a Monday morning. It's a beautiful day. We can get some work today. Work done today. It's going to be a nice day outside." He works outside. He was happy. He was not angry. Everyone else was furious. Some thought they had a reason, but their reasons weren't even valid. And the rest didn't even have a reason. Like, his crew members didn't have a reason to be angry, but they were. Now, we know that this equals these. Go watch the video from the professor. Go watch that lecture. If you don't believe me, I don't expect you to believe me. Do your research. You will find that this is a fact. This is not it's not. It's fact. So, we know this. We know that those are all related. We know that it is turned on in Indianapolis, Indiana. We know that there was rioting in Indianapolis, Indiana. Of course, there are people who are paid to come in from out of state, out of town, and some of them from in town, I'm sure, to riot and cause disruption. That's not a question. I'm not saying that there's only one cause. I'm not saying that this is the one cause. I'm saying that I believe that it was a contribution to the problem. Think about it. Think about it, friends. We know it is not disputed that this manipulates people's emotions. Put a certain frequency out and you get anger. Put a different frequency out and you get fear. Put a different frequency out and you get happiness. To those people who are using this crap, drinking soda, eating junk food, and taking pharmaceuticals. It's all from the DARPA guy, from this video that I'm mentioning. Please watch it. It's an hour-long lecture, but I also link to a shorter lecture. Again, I'm not suggesting that this is the only cause. There are other causes, of course. Don't fall for the one problem, one cause fallacy. I want you to have this evidence so that you can make decisions for your family, because if you think about it, the rioting is in big cities. And what do you have in big cities? You got this. During the scamdemic, plandemic, what continued to roll out at an escalated pace? This was not essential infrastructure, but the rollout escalated. That doesn't make any sense, does it? Unless there was a plan. Please, please share this, mirror it. Just link back to the original post. I want people to know that this is a possibility. Please comment below if you live in cities and have observed the same thing. If you have in your city, which is likely, I want to know if other people have observed this as well during the times of the riots, because people are losing their minds, at least in Indianapolis. And thus, my husband isn't working in Indianapolis anymore. His safety is a priority. Thank you for being here. Again, please share and mirror this so that it doesn't get lost. Again, I apologize for having to use all of these flashcards, but that's the world we're living in today. Thank you so much for being here. Have a most beautiful and blessed day.